Sekumnandi bafo.
Yeah, grand.
Maqala.
Yeah.
Uyidlula ngisho. Phela le show le. Bismillah, no problem. So kumele hlale so sana zadulemo if ever
no, it's fine.
Yeah, I shall.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, I agree.
Or ngivuhle.
Bismillah.
And then also the other thing in the with Xolani or with excommunicado.
What's that?
What's on the record of
With Xolani or
It's fine. X, it's fine.
We are live, Buffet. We are live.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
Welcome to the Everything Dean podcast. Everything Dean. It's not the Everything Dean. Thin Dean podcast with excommunicado Fundis, Xolani, Mbonani. So yeah, keep on it.
Isha, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah bafethu. Ngijabula ukuthi sibe no guest wethu namhla inshallah. Grand. We are here with this discuss inshallah about into esibhekana nazo sama Muslim, especially ama Muslim waseKasi.
Yeah.
You understand that if you are born and bred eKasi,
Yeah.
and some of us we are not born Muslims.
And let's mention it that today actually this is the first episode for the Everything Dean podcast.
Yeah.
So the guest that we have here is going to be a guest of extremely great prominence. But we'll introduce him a little bit later on. Yeah, I
know. It was just you mention ukuthi discussa nje izinto esibhekene nasama Muslim especially esikhulele emakhasi.
Sure.
Uyayibona le nto leyo, and also ama journeys wethu yini into esesathu ukubhekana nazo pro ama journey wethu as ama Muslim, and some of us sithole Islam sesibadala. Uyayibona into leyo. So kunomlando behind yonke le nto leyo ukuthi okay, how did it come about ukuthi ugcine uyi Muslim? Uyayibona into leyo. And uyazi ke, like for example njengamina ngumuntu omamela rap music.
Yeah, hip hop.
You understand the hip hop music.
Yeah.
Uyayibona into leyo. In a way hip hop has played a role.
Yeah.
Ekutheni ngigcine ngiba umuntu oyenzana embrace Islam. You understand? Yeah, through i-Fortman lam indli.
Sure.
Uyayibona into leyo. But this is not about me bafethu. We have a guest lethu.
Today's guest
Yeah.
is somebody that is very well known in the Muslim community and also very well known in the hip hop community. He actually played a role in my life, but he probably doesn't know that. But today he's gonna find out. So we have today none other than my man, brother Muzammil. Okay, for some he's Muzammil, for some he's Mpendulo, for some he's Malik.
This is important.
And for some, yeah, exactly. And for some he's Mahlangu.
Right.
In Kwandebele, and he's a man of various facets and aspects, and inshallah today we're going to be discussing those various aspects to get to have an inner view of him, who he really is, and his journey, and him as a person, his views and his beliefs, and to draw some inspiration from his life and his beliefs and his views and his thoughts, you know. So welcome.
Thank you,
my brother.
Thank you.
You know,
yeah.
You know, actually, I don't know if some of you didn't know this. He's part of a group, a rap group called Buffoza. Or was. I don't know. He'll tell us. He'll tell us. He's part of a rap group called Buffoza. And Buffoza is the first hip-hop group in South Africa. First Muslim hip-hop group in South Africa.
Wow, mashallah.
And possibly him and his group mates might be the first Muslim rappers in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm sure Cape Town people.
Cape Town
beat us
people,
to
yeah.
it,
The DVSD and
yeah.
all of
Even
them.
prophets of the city.
Prophets
there
of the
might
city,
be
they
some
were,
Muslims,
yeah, okay.
What's his name? Shahid? Or what
Yeah,
was
yeah.
his name? Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys are the first hip hop group.
I
Muslim
think
hip-hop group.
all Muslim hip hop group. Probably.
All Muslim hip hop group.
Probably,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Because I know these Cape Town groups, they
Yeah.
must have had Muslims in there.
In there.
Rasafari
Oh, all right.
These guys, yeah.
So yeah, the member of Buffoza, father, farmer, Muslim. I don't want to overstep, because if I say leader, you're gonna be like, no, I'm not a leader.
Yes.
You know, but he's a man of different things. So, who is Mpendulo Muzammil, Mr. Mahlangu? I got inspiration from you, and I knew you in terms of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, because I was not exposed to hip hop from a Muslim perspective.
Yeah.
First time I got a Muslim perspective in hip hop, being a young guy who was very deeply in love with hip hop music. The same thing with what the brother just said,
Yeah.
with regards to becoming Muslim as a result of hip hop. You know, so the first time I got exposed to that was listening to Buffoza.
Right.
You know, you and Hakeem and AQ and and
Killer
Killer
M,
M.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what other things are there about you? Can you introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself?
Yeah, it's man, without being too abstract. I mean, I'm like many people, I'm different things at different points of my life.
Yeah.
None of us are ever one thing. But if I could just piggyback on your introduction had more to do with hip hop more than the other things I am, the farmer and all of that. Then we can maybe touch on those later on. But when we formed Buffoza, I wasn't even aware that we were these things you were mentioning at the time, that there was no other group that was all hip hop. So a lot of the things, because we were young, we didn't even know that we would leave such an impact on hip hop.
Sorry, Rangane.
Yeah.
By then, were you a Muslim already, or you just?
Yeah. So two of the members, myself and my younger brother, who is in the group also, were born into Muslim families. So we've been Muslim all our lives. But the other two brothers had already embraced Islam a few years before we formed the group. So all of us, yes, were all Muslim. But I wish I could say something profound about when we started it. We thought would be this, all these stats that he's mentioning. We weren't even aware of these things, right? We were just four friends, or two of us are blood brothers, and we just all had some dope rhymes, and we thought, how about we come together and form this group? But I guarantee you, and you can tell in the name, there was never any intention to be an all-Muslim group, right? So in fact, when we were coming up, there was a fifth guy that was also a mutual friend with all of us.
Oh, that's interesting.
And he wasn't Muslim.
Yeah.
So he could have
Who's
easily
that?
joined the group.
13.
Oh yeah, 13 also. 13 I think comes. Oh yeah, definitely 13 is one of the honorary members.
Okay, all right.
I would say Nyams also is an honorary member.
Nyams, all right. Okay.
Because there is no Buffoza without him.
Yeah,
I
Nyams
mean,
is one of the greatest beat makers in the country.
Yeah, and
No,
I mean,
Nyams, yeah, Nyams, he's produced for a lot of beat makers, a lot of rappers.
yeah.
Proverb, and I think even Pro Kid.
Yeah.
So
We did, right?
we definitely had no intention to form an all-Muslim group.
Wow.
You know, they could have easily.
So
It was written.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah,
written.
exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of other honorary members, I think, people like Boy Wonder, he used to go by the name Underground back then.
Okay.
He's an actor also, doing well for himself in that space now. But
Okay.
the one thing I would say, because you asked me who I am, I think now, you know, I've sort of taken a step back with the hip hop.
Before you continue
Right.
defining yourself, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You know, once I was reading on Hype magazine,
Yeah.
and the word Buffoza, because many people,
Yeah.
as you know, it's spelled B-A and with a 4 and then Z-A.
Yeah.
I think it was you who was explaining it on Hype magazine, where you said that the B stands for black, the A stands for Allah, and the 4 stands for the numbers that you are. You guys,
Yeah, yeah,
it's you,
yeah.
Hakeem, AQ, and Killer M.
Yeah.
And then Za, South Africa.
South Africa. No,
Was it a
Killer M,
coincidental
I think
kind of a
Killer
thing?
M has it in a rhyme or something, and he has a different definition for it. I think
Oh,
all
okay.
of us held. We never agreed what the legs is.
Okay.
I
wow,
just
that's-
had my. I know Flex Boogie Hakeem back then.
Yeah.
He called it B dot. That's what he used to call the
B
group,
dot.
right? So I think all of us sort of had our own thing. You know
Alright,
how we
alright.
approached the name.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting you. You were
no,
explaining
it's
about
okay.
yourself. Yeah.
No, it's okay. But yeah, no, definitely. I've taken a step back with the hip hop, but I'm still amazed at how many people still come up to me and acknowledge our place as a group
Yeah.
and our influence in you know, especially the Cap City or Pretoria hip hop
Pretoria hip-hop,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because I think before us, I mean, there were other hip hop groups in Pretoria since the 90s, and you know, I'm on first name basis with a lot of the guys, much older than me, but because, you know, we were in the ciphers with them.
Yeah.
But I think until Buffoza, no one really, you know, stepped on the train and went to Tembisa as we would, and went to Park Station and to the ciphers in Joburg and everywhere else. That's literally the only difference between us and the other groups. So I wouldn't even take credit for us being the first group. Definitely not the first group. There were people before us like DJ Eyes.
Okay.
And I forgot what the crew name was, and other people much older in years also than me. But you know, Buffoza just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I think we were fortunate. Yeah.
But then, have you ever signed a deal, mhlambe, with these known record labels and stuff like that, and like
doing it big?
yeah,
No, we came close, but we never did. As long as because music groups are a lot of work, you know. Even just 2 people in the group is a problem, really, because 2 of the guys were studying engineering. One being my brother, AQ, also, and I was getting into farming, and Hakeem was busy with his own thing. So I think if we had just stayed together for longer, something like that would have happened. But you know, life was happening. You know, people getting married, etc., and other things taking priority. So we never got to that point. No, but we came really close to that point.
But it still exists. The group still exists, and
I don't think so.
yeah.
I don't think it does.
Alright.
The music remains.
I
of
think
course,
it'll always
but the
live
group-
forever, man. Buffoza
Yeah.
will always be there forever, particularly for me as a
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah, no, the music will always be there, fortunately. But
Yeah.
the group, no, I'd be lying if I said the group exists.
Yeah.
But
There's no new music being
no,
released.
exactly. I mean, and for years, for over a decade.
Yeah.
So unless someone has like a couple of millions they want to, to send our way, then we'll regroup.
yeah. Okay, then.
think-
okay, yeah, no.
I think Mbuzisi would be like Renkren, like identity, like basically who are you, and particularly I'd also like to know, your parents.
Yeah.
Your father, for instance, was Ubabu Suleiman Mahlangu.
Right.
May God bless his soul. He was close with my father.
Yes.
Close friends with my father, and a member of the PAC, Pan Africanist Congress of Hassan. And a very, very powerful, instrumental man in terms of community development. Helping other people. And your mom, obviously, her being a very successful businesswoman and a whole lot of things. Can you tell us more about your parents? Your upbringing, how were you raised and stuff like that? And who were they? Who were your parents?
Yeah.
About Mahlangu.
Luckily I've been thinking about that topic for some days now, and I don't even know if I would have had an answer for you earlier this year, because I'm still trying to make sense of actually who I am. I think like many people, and this is unfortunate that many people exist without having confronted that question. So, and I'm only now coming to grips.
I also would want to know. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
Abo Mahlangu ngubani? Mandebele noma amaZulu ayisho.
There's no question about how Mahlangu being Amandebele. There's no such confusion.
Angisho namandebele nabo bahlukile bathi umuntu wabani?
Mahlangu maridili
Maridili abocona ubani.
Right. No. Okay. Maybe we should start with that, because that's a more overarching theme about who one is.
Yeah.
Right. When we speak about, people say your tribe. I don't like the word tribe. Actually, we are nations, because that's what Europeans found us as. We were nations, not tribes. Now, Abo Mahlangu, there's no question about them being Amandebele, but in a way we are naturalized, because we are from what is mainland, what is today Zululand, from the same area, because Singabambo, all of us. People mistakenly call Amathosa Namazulu, Amaswati Namandebele Abenguni.
Yeah, Abenguni, yes. Right? That's what I know as well.
But that label is also very restricting, because there are other Nguni groups that are not included. We act as if only these 4 groups, and this is as a result of the apartheid. The term that I like to put Abo Mahlangu
Namandebele, apparently, is it true? Do you agree that the Sothos also, there were Ngunis among them? Bakoni?
No, definitely.
Because that's one theory I heard. They said that Bakoni actually are the Ngunis. It's a distortion of Nguni.
No, but there was always this cross-pollination between these different nations, and then apartheid comes and almost like laundry, put your whites separately and your blacks and colors and others separately.
Sure.
But this is a fallacy, right? Maybe the confusion about who Abo Mahlangu is comes from the fact that also we have Abo Mahlangu have this ancestor Umdungwa. As some of the Zulus do,
yes.
Like the Kumalo,
who
are also Ndebele in Zimbabwe ruling, also, right?
Yeah.
So the Kumalos have this ancestor also Umdungwa that Abo Mahlangu have. You see, and Abo Kumalo, when they cross, I was talking about Abambo. Abambo are this group of people who are coastal. These are the coastal Nguni speakers.
Okay.
Right? These are the Zulus, the Swatis, the Xhosas, etc.
Wow.
Abambo. Yeah. Right? This is a word I don't know why it has been deleted from our vocabulary, and the Nguni one takes prevalence. It's possible that it could be from there. Oh, okay, right. So Abambo.
Yeah.
Right. And what Abambo are these Nguni speakers who live at the coast, right? In rich grassland areas, as you see KZN. When you cross Drakensberg, Kahlamba, coming up this way, this is generally considered Umhlaba wa Besuthu, right? This side of the Drakensberg. So when the Abambo people cross the Drakensberg, they become Amandebele. Right? So I like to explain it this way. If a group of Xhosa people crossed the Drakensberg, left the Eastern Cape, came this way, they would immediately be called Amandebele. Not that we'd have any relations with them, right? Which is what happens with the Zimbabweans. The Zimbabweans, I don't know why there's so much confusion, but I guess it's from this. The northern Ndebeles, right, are actually closer to Amazulu. Right, you hear them, because they come. We've been here for about 600 years. This side of the Drakensberg.
Yes.
We left, you know, the other side, the rich grassland side of the Drakensberg, about 600 years ago. So this group, Yamanzunza and Manala, these Ndebeles are here, the southern Ndebeles, right, have been around here for 600 years. Whereas in Laba Basa Zimbabwe are very recent. It's now with the so-called Kane Wars. Right? So there's this confusion that is caused by a very simple thing with anyone, any of the Abambo speakers that crosses into the land of the Sutus becomes Ndebele, automatically. And Letebele is my understanding is Sutu Leswana Letebele is just a strange person. So it's said that when we appeared, you know, the Botswana and Basutu said, you know, Letebele. You know, I mean, I know it's a very oversimplified way of putting it. So our Mahlangu from that group, right, that came here about 600 years ago. And you have to respect Abantu Bawa Mahlangu for keeping together the Nzunza nation. You have to respect the Abantu Bawa Mabena who have kept together the Manala nation and preserve their language, Nguni language, in a sea of Sutu speakers. Right? It amazes me all the time. It is difficult. It's very difficult. And, you know, I think about that a lot lately, and it's something, that's what I was saying to you. I hadn't thought about these things until very recently. In any case, the man you speak about, to Suleiman Mahlangu, obviously, from whose loins I come, made me very conscious of these things. But it's only now, since Badala, you know, these things are starting to make sense. But he was a man who was, because you asked about my parents, who was very aware of himself. And, you know, and I'm lucky, and you are, because I think my father, your father, and others like the Mbalatis.
That generation,
that generation. And these were men who were really aware of themselves. You know, they were not men of ghafla, you know, of heedlessness, right? They knew their place in the world, and they did all they could to make sure that I think us as their children, I feel like someone else might feel differently. Because I would not have been, including the women also, because we leave our mothers
we always
too
do.
much.
We always do forget them.
And
they were actually more instrumental than our fathers.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And instrumental doesn't always mean the same thing, because obviously women cannot be imams, they cannot lead the prayers, the janazah and all of that. So, and then we think of women as less instrumental. True. But you know, a lot of times the women kept it together when the men sometimes fell apart, whether it was financially or otherwise. Difficulties, exactly. And the women kept it together and actually kept the family name going. So there could have been no Mahlangu as I am today, you know, if my mother hadn't kept it together for this man, right? Sometimes in his long periods of absence. So I think to be born, I wish I could take all the credit, you know, and say, oh, I read all these books and then I came to this sort of St. Paul epiphany, you know, the famous St. Paul epiphany on his way to Damascus
and hearing the voice of Jesus.
Yes. No such thing. I guarantee you happened for me. No such thing happened for me, you know. It was, I think, since the day I was born and finding out how I was named Muzammil, right? When I heard that story, and I knew that my parents had a plan for me, you know, when I heard the story as a teenager, you know, and nothing could have been more liberating for right? For any human being anywhere in the world, than to know that your parents actually had a plan
for you. Wow.
Right?
That's something out of this world.
Right?
Man.
Yeah. So
How many people make? How many people?
Salawat.
You know how many times do people make children, but at the same time, you know, there's no intention. You know, that like I want my child to be this. You understand? You know, so for them that they could see that's out of this world.
No,
Man.
I remember even one of our teachers, Sheikh Hassan.
Sure.
Yeah, when he was telling us about his second son. Yeah, he had a second son. I don't know if Bo was. Yeah, kona light yakhe esiyavela. Yeah, he told us one time, he said that you know, le ntwana yam lena, my intention kahle ngayo ukuthi he also follows our footstep become a scholar. You understand, an Islamic scholar. Muhammad, and yet Muhammad is the firstborn child.
Wow.
He is the firstborn out because his firstborn child is it's a girl.
That's good.
yeah, no. So I mean, we could go on and on. How much time do we have? But for me, that's
I don't know for how long have we been
short of it.
Unlimited time. We can go
24 minutes. 25
We've been
minutes.
speaking for 24 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay. All right.
For me, that's the long and short of it. Is that you know, it's important. You know, it's important that we not take this credit for ourselves.
Sure.
And we're Muslim. We come from a tradition of I heard so and so say. You know, we don't appear out of a vacuum, and this is important to pass on to our children because they will come after us and curse us if we don't cover the faults of our parents. Our children also will not cover
our flaws.
my father, by no means, we don't say Allah be pleased with him because he was perfect. No. I certainly am under no illusions about his imperfections. That's why I am under no illusions about my own imperfections. Right. And we are shaped by these
all the
things.
sons of Adam are sinners.
Yes.
Sinners, right? The narration says all the sons of Adam are sinners and the best of sinners are the repenters.
Yes.
You know? Kullu bani Adam
Yes.
wa khairu khata'un
Tawwabun. Right. So, I mean, that is, for me, there's a writer, D.H. Lawrence, he said the best gift that a father can give to his son is to die young. Right. When I don't know if my father was still alive when I read that.
When you read that,
or not.
okay.
I think it was after.
Right.
And I thought about that. No, I think it was years after Wawa passed away. Right. And in a way, I think that's another thing that has shaped me because I was 25 when he passed away. I think. Which I considered young. Maybe someone else might say no. I think also there was. I don't want to call it a gift because my father did not intentionally die. But it gives you time as a young man to sort yourself out, knowing what Baba said, you know, and you see. So I don't think I would have, if my father was alive, I don't think and I would have loved for him to still be. I would have loved for him to still be alive, but I think that's another thing we don't talk about enough is that, you know, the impact that the death of a parent has, which goes back to what D.H. Lawrence said, is that it can actually be a gift. But people, it's almost a taboo to say this. It sounds as if you're celebrating the death of a parent. No right-minded person can ever say that. But it took the death of my father for me to become what he wanted me to become, right? It is almost like, and we are, of course, not comparing ourselves to prophets or anything. Abraham and Ibrahim and his son, some say Ismail, some say Ishaq. We won't get into that. But when he was separated whichever son it was in Allah and His Messenger.
Is there a reason why you're saying that some say it was Ishaq?
There is that debate.
That the one who was supposed to be slaughtered,
yes, there
was
is that
Ishaq
debate.
instead of Ismail.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Some people, the great majority.
I'm not going to
of
ask you
people's-
which one it
The
is.
great majority say it's
Ismail.
Ismail in
Yeah,
our tradition,
yeah.
but there is also strong evidence that it was Ishaq.
That's what I believe as well. Now I'm going to get in trouble for
I
this.
think even Christians.
I mean, that's another show on its own.
The Christians,
even
the Christians,
they
the
believe.
Christians and the Jews do say it's Isaac. They say it's Isaac.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Right. No,
When
but
he was
I-
separated from them, yeah.
Yes, when he was, and I think this is because we're all men here also.
Yeah.
This we don't think enough about this story, and you know, stories are a huge theme in the Quran, but people treat them as if they're just stories.
Yeah.
Right, but in this story, you see with the separation of the father and son, what that does for his heart. You see how that shapes him. Right, you're almost tempted, if you were not a believer, to judge the father Ibrahim when he sends his young family away, right, and is separated from them. But look what Allah produces from that separation. When you go to Hajj and Umrah, and you remember that
Everything that we
Exactly.
get basically is
all of this
the
is
entire deen
exactly
is
it's
basically
based
from
on that separation.
that very same family that was
Exactly.
left behind.
And it could have been said in today's terms to have been a broken family.
Exactly.
And in a way, many of us came from such families.
Yeah.
Right.
There was something beautiful that Sheikh Hamza Yusuf was speaking about
Yeah.
the other time, you know, and he was quoting a certain scholar. I don't know which scholar it is, but basically that scholar was talking about how children basically when they are afflicted, I think it was on the podcast with Jordan Peterson, right, where he speaks about children, that whenever children are afflicted with things, so he mentions this writer was blind ever since he was young. So he thanks the Creator that he was blind when he was young.
Right.
You know, because if he was blind when he was older, he would complain to God. He would complain, and he'd probably even hate God, you know, and all of that, and all of those kinds of things, you know. So, so sometimes we also, as parents, when we look at our children, you know, we actually feel some form of pain, you know. But children don't really feel, you know, trauma and all of those kinds of things.
I mean, children are the greatest stoics.
Yeah.
They're the greatest stoics.
Yeah, stoicism. You know, you need to talk more about
No,
that.
definitely.
Stoicism, yeah.
Kids are the greatest stoics.
No, sorry, it's not. Stoicism.
Subtitle it up.
No, asibe ngesinto.
Ngesini ukuthini? Bathini?
Nakhonakala sibe ngesinto.
Bathini?
No,
Kuyini? Kuyini?
abekho abantwana, I mean abantu ababekezelako njengabantu. Ende babekezela bangaboni. Bese kube ngithi ababelethi esifuna ukubasusa lapho, uyabona, sibathambise. Uyabona, sithi no, mntwanami ungabi, and umntwana ukhamba indlela on fitra. The child is on fitra, right? And then you take them out of fitra. Because it's not lento unowizwe kasi bathi ngwana ujase usuzijama to some siyaphetha badangisa
Something like
umntana
I choose one.
something
yeah, you know, when you say to people abantu abanyama neza abantwana bangako njalo uyabona, jokingly, you know, and people will tell you, oh, when a father denies paternity of a child, and they say, oh, malela mntwana mlethe somkhulisa uzodla lokho esikudlayo, you know, because sometimes the father gets anxious about how will I support this child. And then, you know, sometimes your parents remind you, now it's samkhulisa slogan. So anyway, not to detour too much, but children I just wanted to segue into stoicism. Children are the greatest stoics. I just wanted to actually support what
So
you
why
said.
would you
We
say,
forget
like,
that,
how would you like reconcile? How do you reconcile stoicism with Islam, for you personally?
Man, stoicism is everywhere in Islam.
It's in the Quran, all of from start to finish.
Man, from start to finish.
Yeah.
I don't know about in the Shia tradition, but in the Sunni tradition, our Prophet ﷺ did not mourn his children much. Right? So, with one of the children, an eclipse happened on the day of his death. I think it was Ibrahim, or it could have been Qasim, one of the sons. And then some of the people in Medina said, "Oh, Allah is, mourning your child," and He forbade them from saying this. Right? So he was not extravagant in showing emotion. That's why we treasure the times when he's extravagant, because he only acts out of revelation. Right? He's never extravagant with these emotions. I don't find anywhere where Rasul is ever extravagant with his emotions as we sometimes are. And he lost Khadija, right? And he lost Abu Talib before that, and we know the story. He lost Abdul Muttalib, and he lost Halima, and he lost everybody, and he lost the people he did not even see.
Exactly.
Right. That's his mother. He was even
the Sahaba.
He
Many
was
of the
too young.
Sahaba.
He lost Hamza, and so many. He lost his uncle, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But we do not find in our tradition evidence of a man,
breaking down
and being extravagant, and it would have been okay.
Exactly, it would have been okay.
Would have been
Definitely.
okay.
Yeah, especially today.
Exactly, especially today. So if it was today, I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
But he's a man of his time, and back then, men, did not speak about trauma, nor did he. Maybe we should review that. I don't think it would go against his tradition to review that. No, that's what Stoicism.
So basically, do you subscribe to basically Indota Ifela Maphakathi and all of that?
I think it depends from case to case.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think it depends, because some measures must be taken. Look with Wahshi, with Hamza. He actually takes some measures behind the scenes to remedy the situation. So he doesn't say to Wahshi, "No, ibakona la Medina." He says, "I akusuthi ngiyakuzonda, but mangikubona
ngiyamkhumbuza ankele yami
Exactly.
ankele yami.
Exactly. So ngicela uphume from Medina,
yeah.
live outside Medina.
Yeah.
So I think that is the equivalent of today, maybe seeing a shrink or whatever.
Yeah.
So he took some practical steps behind the
yes,
scenes.
yes.
He doesn't just like, I know grand, mbulali kamalume nangu lana grand scene. So I think we need to balance the stoicism. It's not like, there's a hurricane coming, my house is gonna get blown by a hurricane. Let me leave my kids inside. I'm a stoic. No, you still remove them, and then the house is gone, and then you rebuild. That's what the stoic does. You rebuild. But you take the measures to get out of harm's way. So the stoic doesn't chase the harm, but he knows that harm is going to come. No matter where you run, harm is going to come to you.
All right. So I don't know what I should talk about now. Maybe let's talk about parenthood.
Yeah.
You've got kids.
Yeah.
Right? How many are they that you know of?
Oh man. Hey, where's Evento? Hey, this thing of having children outside of marriage, we don't talk about it enough as Muslims. It's a taboo. Muslims are the most pretentious people on earth. We're so pretentious. And it's a problem, and you number 81% sort of Muslim. Safika, South Africa. We say Safika on ships. Because we don't want to address issues like if a sister is a prostitute, what should she do now? Stop fasting, stop. We don't, right? If you said that, people just say astaghfirullah.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's his situation, and it's there. or the politically correct term is sex worker. And if she's dealing with the thing and she knows,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
You can't say
sex worker.
You can't say that.
Well, you can, but you know it's better to say sex worker. I'm going back to the children thing, and not that it applies to me or not is irrelevant.
Sure.
But it's because you you made the joke that the ones you know of.
Sure.
And maybe someone might have taken offense to that if it was someone else.
Yeah,
But men do have children that they don't know of. Muslim men. Right?
Hey,
all they know of. All they know of. Exactly. So, no, I'm glad you made that joke, and no one is offended, you see. And yeah. I mean, I was talking about, for instance, if a woman is dealing with this is the only work that she can pursue right now is selling her body. But she knows it's wrong and she intends to stop and feed. What must she then do? Do is astaghfirullah, don't even come near me.
And I think also there's, for me personally, there has been other things, you know, we need to actually also revisit the definition of zina.
Yeah.
Because right now there's, I was having a discussion, you know, based on the research that I've been doing for a number of years as to what is the meaning of zina, you know. Because now what you have is that sex before marriage is zina. And then that's fornication. Fornication is zina. Adultery is zina. And whereas they don't have the same
punishment.
Yes, they don't have the same punishment. You know? So one punishment says this, which we have in hadith. We don't have it in the Quran. And then the other one says, no, it's 100 lashes. You know, so there is also a whole lot of stuff that is happening. So you also get a stigma. For instance,
but isn't it fornication applies when you are a married woman and
you adult again?
Oh, that's adult.
English differentiates.
Voice low.
You see, and manje ijive ukuthi akunezinye izinto ngisabuphila ngazo. Okay, but like HIV crank is also like le incosi lezi uthola incosi uhlangana nothikeni mawuqeda ukuhlangana nothikeni uziphushanayo bani incosi mara lo thikeni lo bekangadruwanga lo thikeni lo bekanganamuntu i-virgin as far as we concerned yabona and then uzala incosi nencosi le bazothi yini yiwala luzina.
Yes,
it's an illegitimate child.
Yes.
Can't lead prayer, can't do this, can't inherit, can't. He's a bastard. Like the same thing on Game of Thrones. You've seen on Game of Thrones, they take them on the wall. They have to stay there. They can't be of royalty. They can't be, you know. So
they are stigmatized.
Like you know.
No, we ought to revisit some of
exactly.
These things,
That's what I'm trying to say. You know, I don't want to mention other things. But we really need to reassess and actually see
because even nasemakasi mawabheka iningi vele lasemakasi especially lesikhathi samaye kule generation yethu yabo generation abazali nabadayile ama-time awethu and stuff bebathrowa grand ngalezo inkathi lezo zabo and then ne-situation beyibavuma of which kule sikhathi samanje is not easy. You understand? Ngavela manje ngizithole ekuthekeni la estradini ngitshela ukuthi my sister I mean nawe ngifuna sibe so uyayibona into le sifike lapha na kuyo Muzammil na incosi yakho mfethu ufuna ukuyishada hayi ndoda 50 skodo amalobo. You understand? Of which for me I feel ukuthi and uyazi ke mase kunale nto le yabo i-money making schemes.
Sure.
You understand? Awufuna umntana shade up until as ilobolo lize likhishwe, but now we are faced nezinto ezinjengabo in high rate of unemployment. You understand? So amajita ahlele kasi maningi. You understand? Therefore kuleyo situation leyo umkhipha kanjani because ngizokushada kanjani.
No, we need to discuss these things.
You understand?
Because people are doing these things.
It
just means we think of ourselves too holy to participate in the discussions.
Discussions.
Because whether we like it or not, And we should not like it if it opposes the Quran.
True.
But not to like something doesn't mean so you know. There's also the issue of homosexuality, which Muslims refuse to discuss. Bisexuality. Last being some but hey, they out there. Anyway, that is not our business. But what I'm trying to say, these things are there, right? But Islam is conspicuously absent in this discussion.
Muslims,
you know, Muslims are
absent,
are absent and we live in a non-Muslim society. Our approach can't be the had hudud to everything. This is not Iran or Iraq or Saudi Arabia where I mean, we wouldn't even be having that discussion in those countries. The question would be, no, Bando, you know, we're trying to do that here. In Saudi Arabia, we wouldn't be sitting in Jeddah having this conversation. Because then it would be like, no, so we're trying to, you know, live as a majority when we're a minority, and it's a problem. So then we were unable to have honest conversations, you know, because your mind immediately comes, hey, Saudi Arabia, no, but you're not there. I was in Saudi Arabia, and women in this country, whether we like it or not, and in other westernized countries and non-Muslim countries, ukulala nentombi ungakayishadi is not a big thing. And you're in that culture. It's not to. That culture, hatta yawmul qiyamah, until yawmul qiyamah, it will never be acceptable to us as Muslims. We must be firm on that. True. But what I'm saying, it's happening.
Exactly. Conversations need to be had about
exactly. So for us who dabbled in a little bit of it, when you came across a person who steals, and the fuqaha say, in what condition is he? He's a beggar. He goes into a supermarket, he steals food. How do you exact hard on such a person?
The dude on a person who's taking food.
Exactly. Because that's his condition. They look at the condition.
Situation.
So our feet
was he forced? Was he...
Exactly.
You know, so many conditions to...
Exactly. So what should a poor young man who cannot take a wife of no means, little to no means, what should he do when he finds himself, you know, coming of age, you know, and desiring the company and the intimacy of a woman? When are we going to discuss these things? They're happening with or without our contribution to the conversation.
Well, as Muslims, they say we do have an answer. Kufanele umuntu athandaze afast.
Yeah, no, I've heard that.
Yeah, but that's nonsense.
We all know that.
Yeah, but that's nonsense.
We all know that, but it's not working. It's not working. Let's
but I think we are quick in pointing out problems than coming out with a solution. You understand? I think that's the thing. Even naguma communities wethu slogo species sibuyela emuva. You understand? That slogo species sibuyele kuma problems instead of coming with a solution.
Into abantu abayisabayo Mbonani ukuthi yabona mawungakhiphi fast obeke isibongo sakho lapha.
Yeah.
You know, inkinga yilapho then Mbonani uphi lo owathi makulalwane. Wena bowungasho njalo. And I think this is what the ulama fear. You'll be forever remembered as that guy who said zina is fine.
True.
But no one is brave enough to I mean, some of the Malikis, and I don't like to do this where I just say some of the, you know, in a random conversation, said that when you marry a woman, she may even strip for you so that umbone isitho sakhe ngesitho kuthiwa isitho. Angifuni ukuthi
isitho sakhe.
Sibese inhlonipho lento. You know, because what you're looking for is not in popular language, and sorry to be crude, you're not looking at the ass per se, you're looking at the shape. I don't know if that makes sense. People who act as if that doesn't make sense, but singamadoda siyazi what that means. So we're not saying, you know, measure the inches on the buttocks or these other. I'm sorry for speaking so crude.
No, but even what you call, even Shia jurists also have the same opinion. They also have the same opinion.
There
Some,
you go.
well, what I know.
Yeah, some. Yeah, it's a minority opinion.
Yeah,
Right. But these things are there. So you see, what I was trying to get at Mbonani, there are these brave ulama in our tradition, all of us, right? In the dark corners.
Yes.
But also it's
That's
sometimes
the worst fate.
yeah, exactly. Because they're brave enough to, say the things that other people are thinking, but they don't want to be remembered for those things. So I think that the challenge for you brothers as scholars, is to put yourself in that firing line. Is to propose some of these controversial things until they become not so controversial. Of course, with proper backing. But modern people also are very problematic because people want evidence. The Quran, abangakwazi nokuyifunda abantu bayahlekisa nawo ngamshayela yona ayakhona manje nge-Arabic akayazi usambuza ukuthi isura yiphi no,
You have to explain word for word and then
exactly. If you want evidence from me, be on my level.
Exactly.
Because no one does this with a lawyer in court, when they quote and act what. And then because the magistrate already knows the people talking. Imagine if someone in the benches came out and said, this is the problem that Muslims have, is that you guys are jurists, right? You're the people who, if this was a Muslim country, you'd be the ones sitting in court, defending people and all of that, if you were practicing jurists. So imagine if people in the benches, you expressed your opinion on a matter based on what you've learned. And people said, hey, this is what Muslims, this heckling that Muslims do when they hear something that is strange to them. This is actually what we're doing. You see sometimes in a case where someone gets bail in a court and your opinion is that, nah, imali bengafanelanga athole ibail. No, umthetho awusebenzi kanjalo. Siyazi lo muntu wenze kanje kanje. But umthetho uyamvumela ukuthi athole ibail. And so the ulama need to realize that this is their place in the society. People are going to throw stones at you, and say, no, lo muntu bengafanelanga athole ibail. But if you feel this person must get the bail because the Quran and the Sunnah allows it, then come out and say it. Right? And so we need the ulama to be brave going forward. I have not as many children as I want to go back. Inshallah. No, because, and I'm running on, but we have this thing. Someone said to me, a mutual friend, Unkazi, said to me the other day, you people don't understand something about royal families, right, in this part of the world. Being royalty back then meant one thing and one thing only, is that you control the most land, the most cattle, and obviously you took the most women. If you had the most land and the most cattle, meant you needed more women in the household.
And automatically that means more children.
And then more children, obviously, right? And
because I even heard that King Moshoeshoe had more than 100 wives.
There you go.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
I wouldn't find it too hard to believe.
I
mean that's So the people of the people of royal families should not be shy to test the limits even of polygamy in Islam. Because Islam has been, I don't want to say Islam, but the Muslims have generally been lenient to people who are from families of rulers. They usually have more wives than in fact what the Sharia allows, right? And then you find the jurists, for instance, I know
West African countries.
I know like Mansa Musa.
Oh, he had more than 4 wives.
No, he did. And then I think because he was
but that ruling itself also, there are some scholars that say that no, the verse. The verse did not specify that you can't exceed 4.
It doesn't have.
It did not say that you can't exceed 4. It just said 1, 2, 3, or 4. So some scholars, one of the scholars was saying basically, so what do you want Allah to say? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It'll take out the whole Quran. And the whole Quran will just be numbers.
So basically we're saying that no, Allah is basically just saying it's up to you 2, 3, 4, and then He did not want to exceed and reach You know?
You're supposed to
That's
say
personally the interpretation I gravitate
Oh,
towards.
nice.
But in practice, I stick to the mashhur
Okay, all right.
opinion.
Yeah, the famous one.
The famous one.
Yeah,
I think in this
But
religion, you
obviously,
always
we
find
wouldn't
safety in
demonize a person who
that.
has 10 wives.
That's why I said personally I gravitate towards it. So if
How
someone
many
came with 10
wives did he have? Mansa Musa.
I mean hundreds. I mean they were also concubines. That's the thing.
Yeah,
They were also concubines.
Hey, big up, powerful.
Yeah, because not all of them are wives.
Amarae, futhi bezlela ngisho. Wealthiest man in history.
Yeah. But we need to, I mean, the strongest evidence I heard, and we don't want to make this a fiqh show,
Yeah.
but the strongest evidence I heard yet that 4 is not a limit is the message of Allah.